So since Cyborg actually got his little booyah at the end of the film, in the next Justice League movie, I actually want to see him shoot a rocket from his shoe. It's a little Teen Titans humor there for you, for those in the know. Yeah. So Justice League has been out for a while, the reviews have been coming in, and now it's time to talk some spoilers. If you have not yet seen Justice League or are avoiding it because of the reviews, go out and see it regardless. Come back, watch this video with all of the spoilers in it. This is the official spoiler warning. So obviously one of the first spoilers that we really need to get out of the way, and as if it wasn't already the worst kept secret in cinema history, yes, Superman does come back in this film. And he comes back in a pretty cool fashion, but really not how you expect it to be. The fact that they use a mother box on him to recreate him out of the pool that in Batman vs Superman was the same one that created Doomsday. And he comes back and he's just kind of all emotion, like he doesn't really know who he is. There was one part in that whole scene that made me think back to a part of Batman vs Superman, and I'm not sure if this has been glossed over by anyone or not yet, but Batman mentions bringing out the big guns, and he says that in relation to Lois Lane. Now that made me think back to the Flash scene that's in Batman vs Superman, where Flash travels back in time and warns him and says that he was right all along and that Lois was the key. Now, does that mean that he took the Flash's advice and used Lois Lane as a means by which to make Clark Kent, Kal-El, Superman, realize who he was in that moment of anger and rage while he was fighting all of the Justice League? And there's actually a whole other time stream where he doesn't do that and Superman gets brought back and he's brought back as like a bad guy and just starts destroying things. Is there a whole version of this that we just didn't see? Is that what happened? Or am I just reading too much into this? Because if that's the case, that means that there's a whole timeline that has been completely avoided already in the DC cinematic universe. I mean, either way, I think that the most disappointing thing about the whole Superman being brought back thing is that there was no trace of his black suit that we were promised absolutely anywhere. I don't know if I'm the only one that was disappointed about there not being his black and silver suit involved in the film at all. I thought that would have been quite cool to see him resurrected with that suit and then slowly kind of come back to the idea of getting into his red, blue and yellow one again. But who knows? Who knows what was left on the cutting room floor until the full version comes out. On the other hand, one of the better things about him being brought back was the moment that Barry Allen decides to use the Speed Force and try and race around behind Superman, and Superman's kind of holding Aquaman and Wonder Woman like that, and you just see his eyes like follow Barry Allen around, and Barry Allen has this look on his face that's like, oh my god, he can see me, he knows what I'm doing, he's just as fast as me, which goes to show, again, this is very early in the Flash's career. He hasn't fought anyone that can move like he can. Which does lead me into the post-credit bit, which, if anything was put in there by Joss Whedon, it was definitely the first post-credit scene with Superman and the Flash having that little race and that little back and forth over who could win and what the other one owes them if they win and everything. That, to me, was so Joss Whedon that it's almost exclusively a scene that he thought of. So I did enjoy seeing that, despite all of the other kind of bits that got put in here and there, which were notably Joss Whedon. Like, there were a few lines occasionally that you think, okay, that's kind of brought this character back to earth for me. Like when Batman says, oh yeah, I'm definitely hurt, something's bleeding somewhere. Joss Whedon kind of has this great way of making macho characters seem a little bit more grounded in that sense, and that was notably one of those moments. And I did like that. I did like seeing these moments with these kind of macho characters having realistic moments through the film. And even though, yeah, that's not really the focus of the film, it was a little bit extra that I enjoyed seeing. But more importantly is the post-credits scene at the very end of the film, which, yeah, while it does involve Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, it does introduce Deathstroke, the new Deathstroke with Joe him, yeah. And he looks the part of Slade Wilson so much. And I'm very excited that this is a first reveal of what Deathstroke is in the DC Cinematic Universe. And hopefully that is a teaser for the next Batman film, and ultimately, possibly, for the Legion of Doom, which is the collection of all of the DC main superhero villains coming together to form their own league to fight the Justice League. But now we have to wait for the Zack Snyder extended cut of Justice League, where hopefully we will get the pre-CGI Superman mustache footage, because, you know, I actually want to see that. So the only thing left to ponder on after this point is that now that the reviews are coming in, and there is a huge divide between critics and between the fans over the Justice League film, the fact that Flashpoint is happening, and that's the title of the Flash standalone film, does that mean that there's going to be a whole kind of big reset button push on the DC Cinematic Universe, and they're going to reset a bunch of stuff? Will Ben Affleck then step away from being Batman, and we'll have a younger Batman be put in his place, and there'll be a new status quo revealed? Or is it actually going to be a Flash film which can show us a different alternate reality to the one that we currently have, where there's going to be Aquaman and Wonder Woman at war? We'll have Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Batman for that film and that film alone, and then it'll come back and it will be carrying on as the usual with what we have. I kind of want to see DC stay the course with what they have and keep it going, because they've laid a great foundation with a Justice League movie here. It might not be everything that the fans expected it to be, it's definitely not everything that critics wanted it to be, but it is a firm first stepping stone for an extended universe that they can build upon, and it would be a shame to see all of that just be tossed away and reset with Flashpoint and have everything start over again. But it's ultimately not down to us, but what are your opinions now that Justice League has been out for a while and we can make some sound judgments in our mind? Do you think that Flashpoint is going to be a reset for the DC Cinematic Universe, or is it going to be a slight alternate for that one film? What would you like to see from future DC films? And how cool was Batman in this film? I mean, really, like, it didn't even need Superman, like, just Batman would have been fine. Either way, all comments are welcome in the comments section below. Let's talk spoilers and nerdiness. As always, if you've enjoyed what you've seen here and you want to see more in the future, don't forget to hit right here to subscribe and see more. And until that point, I will see you next time. Dressed like a bat. I can dig it.